Hello, welcome back to my channel. As you know, I talk a lot about reading in the technical terms, how to get someone who is not a reader to read better. Because number one, I believe if you read at a fourth grade level, you're missing out on a lot of books. So that is my goal, is to teach you how to read so you have the skill of reading, so when you read, it becomes easier. If something is easier, you're far more likely to do it. So I want to break down reading to, number one, you've got to learn the skill of reading. I want to begin first by saying the most precious book you can read is the Bible. And I want to just show you a verse in the Bible just so you can see how good God is. Psalm 34:8. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him. You know, we have to taste and see that something is good. And that's what I want you to do with reading. This is one of the Magic Treehouse books. I have been reading through this set of books with one of my students, and he's now on book 44. And do you know what an accomplishment that is? The book is The Ghost Tale at Christmas Time. Now, I read the Christmas Carol with my family this Christmas. What a tradition I'm going to make this, because it's a very short book and it just is so powerful of a book. And that's why Mary Pope Osborne focused this book on Charles Dickens. And he is such a powerful writer. Charles Dickens has been dead for a long time, and yet he still speaks. And he inspired Mary Pope Osborne. So I want to share this with you because I believe reading will help anyone in their life. That's the most important reason for reading. Number one, the Bible says, be still and know that I am God. The Bible says it is their strength to sit still. When you read a book, you have to sit still. That is the most important reason to teach reading, because it will give the student the discipline needed to succeed in life. Now, I have my students read aloud. I do not read it first. I have seen the different ways you can teach reading, and reading aloud as a choral exercise where the person tries to keep up, they are a half a step behind because they can hear and repeat. What you need to do is teach them to read aloud so that you can help them read more fluently and read more smoothly, and you get better with practice. So I'm going to illustrate this through my videos from now on. So let's look at this book by Mary Pope Osborne, the Magic Treehouse books. And I'm just going to read an excerpt from it for you. Charles Dickens has taken Jack and Annie into a restaurant because Jack was accused of stealing a bag. Charles Dickens rescued them from getting put in jail for stealing because the bag didn't look like it belonged to them. But Charles Dickens said, yes, I know them. It is their bag. So here we go. Mr. Pinch ushered them to the table. A waiter brought them silverware and lit a candle. Some of the diners began to notice Charles Dickens and whispered to one another. An elegantly dressed couple came over to the table. Excuse me, Mr. Dickens, the woman said shyly, but I want you to know how much my husband and I love your stories. Why, thank you, said Charles, grinning. Tell me, what do you love most about them? You see, Charles Dickens was a famous author at this time, and so when he went out in public, people recognized him, and they loved his stories. An author writes stories that are beloved, and that's why the classics are so special. They've been loved for generations. And that's why you read them. And that's why this book inspires children to read them when they get older. As the couple began talking about their favorite scenes from the book, more people gathered around Charles Dickens. Can you talk about the favorite scenes from the book? You see, when you read a book, you are opening up a story where you can picture the people in your mind. Everything is in your mind. You see how wonderful that is? At the same time, serving people delivered heaping plates of food to the table: baked apples, turkey drumsticks, steak pie, mashed potatoes, brown bread, buttery cheese, dark jam, and steaming cups of tea. Jack and Annie started to eat at once. Gobbling his mashed potatoes, Jack noticed that Charles Dickens didn't even look at his food. He was too busy laughing and talking with his fans. And that's the beauty of reading. It's better than food. People all over London love Charles, Jack thought. So why did Merlin send us here? So far, Charles was only helping them. They weren't helping him at all. And if you have read the Jack and Annie books, they always go somewhere in time and space, to a different place and a different time to help people. And this reminds me of the Leprechaun in Late Winter, because they were also supposed to help a writer get inspired to write their books. And the writer helped them first. So Jack is trying to help Charles Dickens, but he's helped them. Look, Annie whispered. She pointed toward a window. A man and a small boy were staring through the glass, their faces lit by candlelight. The man was leaning on a crutch. He and the boy were both thin and sad looking. And that's the state of this. And there's a picture. He's looking in the window. When I teach, I use the pictures as describe what you see, because this tells the story. Charles Dickens is happy with his fans. The servers bringing them the food. Jack and Annie are facing the window, and they're seeing the people on the outside looking in. They're staring at Charles, Jack mumbled, his mouth full of potatoes. No, I think they're staring at our food, said Annie. While Charles kept talking with his fans, Annie took a drumstick, 2 pieces of bread, a chunk of cheese from her plate. She wrapped them in the napkin. Then she slipped away from the table and out the door of the inn. Mr. Pinch cried out. Remember, he's the owner of the restaurant. He waved his hands and charged to the door. He yelled in a shrill voice, "Come back here, you urchin! Where are you going with that?" And of course, when you're teaching English grammar, you can take a quick scene from this and say, what does that refer to? You see, you can learn grammar through writing. There's so many things you can do with that. And my students, sometimes if they don't understand, I help them look back. Well, that is the food she grabbed and wrapped in the napkin. Oh, no, not again, thought Jack. He leapt up and ran to the doorway. He pushed past Mr. Pinch and stepped outside into the chilly air. Annie was standing with the little boy and the man with the crutch. She was offering them her bundle of food. "Don't you dare give that food away," cried Mr. Pinch. "Why?" said Jack. "She's not stealing anything. She's giving them some of her own dinner." And that's true. Charles Dickens had paid for that food, and it was Annie's to give away. But the owner's like, "Don't you give that food away." And then, look at this. "What is happening here?" said Charles, stepping outside. When we once thought he was too busy to eat, he was not too busy to know what was happening to Jack and Annie. The little boy grabbed the bundle of food from Annie. "Thank you," he said softly, and he and the man took off. The man's crutch thumped on the pavement as he hobbled away with the boy. "That's right. Get out of here," Mr. Pinch yelled after them. "No greedy mice begging at my inn. And you, urchin, you had no right to do that." "Mr. Pinch, from what I could tell, my young friend was only showing compassion," said Charles. And I'm going to stop here because you get the idea. show compassion. A book can be opened again and again, and when you slow down and read that word, from what I can tell, my young friend was only showing compassion, and the reader has seen how compassionate Annie was. She saw the people outside and saw they were hungry, so she gave them food. You see a need, you meet a need. That is compassion. So, as you look toward the future of teaching reading in the fall, I want you to read yourself. You see, if you are going to help someone read, you must be a reader. And so, as we conclude, I want to inspire you to be a reader. You see, that's how you will feed your mind, and then you can talk about something. This was so exciting to me. I wanted to read it, teach it, and post it. So now I want to encourage you to engage with me. Can you think of another book that I should read online? Can you think of one thing that you appreciated about this excerpt? Now, this is an excerpt, so please go get the book. You can check it out of the library. You can buy it. The Magic Treehouse books are all good. I've read 44 of them in person with this one young man, and it's a beautiful lifetime's worth of wealth in just these books. They're at the 4th grade level. They do start at the 1st grade level because I think Mary Pope Osborne started for the readers to grow with her. So it is good to start with the Dinosaurs Before Dark because you can grow with the reader, and it is just amazing. I met a girl on a vacation that she read 163 of them, and she was only in 2nd grade, and I was just so pleased because when you read books, they become part of your childhood. But guess what? When you read books as an adult, they become part of your life. You always add to your existence. Teach the children while they can, because they have time to read more books. And there are so many things to read and enjoy. Let's help each other find the best books and help each other. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.